Hey, what is up guys? Justin from Out of the Basement here to bring you another Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the deluxe Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett, the throne room version. I found this one at Walmart today, a whole heck of a lot better than my December of 2022 Amazon pre-order, so I'll gladly take it. It was the last one left, so pretty lucky. A few things before we jump into the review. This is more of a Mandalorian Season 2 Boba Fett figure. This look with the drapes actually appears in like a single frame of the actual Book of Boba Fett show during a flashback sequence. The actual Book of Boba Fett design, he is wearing like tights and he has like the red boots. So this is actually a Mandalorian Season 2 look. They're just marketing it as a Book of Boba Fett figure. The vintage collection does have both versions of the character, and I certainly hope that we get an actual like Tatooine Book of Boba Fett figure as well. Second thing I'd like to point out before we get in, this box is just made wider to make it seem like it's deluxe, and I'm really not a fan of that. If you look at the orange line Boba Fett, it is all of the same accessories with the exception of a photoreal head. A photoreal head does not make a figure deluxe, I don't care who you are. I understand that the jetpack is always separate in the package, you couldn't put it on, that's how the other Boba Fetts look. The helmet could have been on the figure, the sidearm could have gone in the holster, it could have been the regular size instead of trying to, I don't know what it is, tricking people into thinking it's deluxe. It's not deluxe, but getting into the review, we have the Black Series logo up here, the beautiful window showcasing the figure in the middle. It is Star Wars, the Book of Boba Fett, in this nice, like, sort of olive green. It says Boba Fett Throne Room. You have the beautiful mural art on the side. A little bit of side window, Black Series logo on the side, and the color scheme does continue. On the back, it is number 2 in the Book of Boba Fett line, number 1 being Fennec Shand. You get that same profile image on the right, Black Series logo at the top. There is a read-up. If you'd like to read it, go ahead and pause it there. Little bit of window at the top. Let's crack it open. Coming in to take a closer look at accessories, we do have Boba Fett's jetpack in this nice matte green. I love the re-armored look of Boba Fett. I really like the paint scheme. It is reuse, which, you know, it makes sense because it's the character's jetpack. It's gonna look the same as far as sculpt and everything. The rocket does come out, which is a nice detail. A little bit of maroon, dark red there, some chrome and gold, some dark yellow. These thrusters are articulated. They can rotate all the way around. Pretty solid paint apps. There's even a tiny little bit of detail on there, a few scratches, and there's a little marking right there. We do have Boba Fett's EE3 blaster. This is a new sculpt, actually, surprisingly new. This is not reused from the Return of the Jedi one or the Empire Strikes Back one. This is actually an all-new sculpt here. It's very similar, but it is indeed a new sculpt. You can especially tell because of the barrel here. It's just much thicker and it resembles how it looks in the actual Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian Season 2. The barrel side is gray, like gunmetal gray plastic. Over here you got some brown and a little bit more of that gray. The sidearm blaster is a new sculpt as well. You get a little bit of brown down there at the handle, and then the rest is cast in that gunmetal gray plastic. Again, this is a new sculpt, surprisingly new. The helmet here is also a new sculpt. I know a lot of people thought they would have just reused the deluxe Return of the Jedi Boba Fett helmet, which had a bunch of warping issues and you had to do the hot water treatment. Luckily, this one comes nice and thick. I think it's a great shape. And this is a new sculpt as well. My rangefinder came a little bent. I'm gonna have to do that hot water to reshape it and then dip it right immediately into freezing water to make it hold. I'll have to fix that after the review, but that's just how mine came out of the box. It's a little bent, but I am pretty confident I'll be able to fix that. We have a couple different shades of green. We have some nice red markings up here, the dark maroon, classic Boba Fett color, and you get this like greenish yellowish over here on the side where the rangefinder is. The rangefinder, the crooked rangefinder, is silver and a little bit of black at the top. Here's a look at the back of the helmet. It's a really solid helmet sculpt. I really like this. Here is Throne Room Boba Fett out of the packaging, and I gotta say, he's actually a lot better than what we were all expecting. I don't know why Hasbro's promo shots were so terrible with the high saturation and the warped helmet and the bottom half of the figure looking brown. I don't know what was going on with those photos, but I can confirm it's a really satisfying look for Boba Fett. It's a really nice figure, and it looks exactly how he's supposed to look, pretty much. And in some ways, it's even more accurate to the SH Figuarts. All right, let's take a closer look at details. I actually don't own the Tython Boba Fett, so I had to check out Robo's review over at the Foosh, and I will be able to tell you right away what is reuse and what isn't. So big shout out to the Foosh. He goes really in depth in his reviews. Totally recommend his channel as well. The legs here are going to be reused from Tython Boba Fett, including this drape. And the boots here are reused with the exception of the armor being sculpted in, because of course this is his re-armored look. So that is new right there with the yellow knee pads. But yeah, like I said, the legs over here, the drape, that is going to be reused from Tython Boba Fett. The belt is all new though. Torso is all new. Arms are new with the exception of the gauntlets. These are going to be from Cobb Vanth. Although I got this figure first, so what came first? Is Cobb Vanth reusing Boba's gauntlets, or is Boba reusing Cobb Vanth's gauntlets? Either way, it makes sense because it's the same armor. So I can forgive the gauntlets being the same. There's some nice painted detail on the dart there, the rocket dart thing. But yeah, this is going to be all new from the belt is new torso, new arms with the exception of the gauntlets. The hands are new. This collar piece around his head is new. The head itself is going to be reused from the Tython Boba Fett, with different paint apps on the scar detail. So let's just jump into it. I love this green. I just absolutely love Boba's re-armored look with the green and just all the kind of more vibrant, even though they're kind of dark colors, just how it pops against the black. I really, really like it. Let's take a look at that photoreal head. If you have seen the SH Figuarts, I actually think this head is better. He does have a little bit of baby face syndrome, but I just think this one looks more like Tem. It looks like more human proportions. It's a little shiny, you know, that's a big problem with the Black Series lately, is shiny photoreal heads. This one isn't that bad though. It's actually pretty decent. The scar detail, I like it a little bit, but the helmet is gonna go on this guy anyway. It's a nicely sculpted head, but I just can't help but think he just looks like a baby. I don't know, something about it. Love the new chest piece though. There's some nice red paint. There's still a little bit of battle damage, some scrapes. Of course, you got the Boba Fett logo up there. These gauntlets are that nice maroon shade, and I really like the sculpt on those. Again, I don't have the Cobb Vanth figure. Over here on the rocket dart, really nicely sculpted detail with some black and some chrome there. The hands are black, and then the fingertips are actually a darker red there. That's a cool detail. Shoulder pad looks super clean. Let's take a look at the back of the figure. That's where the jetpack plugs in. Again, this belt is new. This is not the belt from Tython Boba Fett. There's a little bit of gold on there. Really nice sculpted detail. The lower half that is the reuse, it is a different shade than the black up here. So this might be a really, 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 really dark brown, but it is different from up here. I kind of wish this shade of black would have matched the entire thing, but I don't know. Let me know if you guys noticed that in the comments down below. That also has to do with my exposure settings, my white balance. There's a lot of technical stuff that goes into this, you know, into photography and videography. So it might look different in different reviews depending on what video you're watching. We do have the yellow armor down here, and we have this like bluish gray for the boots. Two different shades of paint right there. On the right arm, we do have the classic Mandalorian rope tube things. Be very careful when you're articulating it. You're going to want to push these to the side so you do not rip them. I actually have ripped them, like on a Death Watch Mandalorian, like the Loyalist from the Clone Wars Walmart wave. So definitely watch out when you're using this articulation over here. You're going to want to push that away so you don't break those. Holster is a nice leather brown attached to the belt, and the blaster fits in there perfectly. I love how the helmet looks on him, and the helmet does cover all of the flesh. You might be able to see it from certain angles like that. You can see a little bit of the flesh tone. And, you know, depending on how you pose it, yeah, you're going to start seeing flesh tone. But for the most part, it covers up his chin. And I can definitely respect that. That's a problem with helmeted characters in the line for sure. And yeah, we have this soft, you know, flappy sash here. And again, if you checked out the review from the Foosh, he compares it with the SH Figuarts. And the Black Series, it is actually more accurate than the SH Figure Arts for good old Season 2 of Mando Boba, because the SH Figure Arts has like a skirt. This one has just the sash, and this is more accurate. The drapes and the sash, more accurate than the SH Figure Arts, so that's kind of a big deal. Other than that, I really love the details on this guy. He just pops on the shelf. I love the way the colors pop off of the black undersuit and the drapes. Let's get into that articulation. The head is on a ball joint, so it is going to be able to rotate all the way around. Also utilizes the dumbbell joint neck articulation, so you do get that back and forth and a little bit of that side to side. This hard plastic for the collar is kind of going to inhibit the head articulation just a little bit. More when you have the helmet on though, so he can look up about that far and he can look down about that low. Let's try it with the helmet on. Yeah, you're definitely going to be a little more inhibited with the helmet on, but you can still, obviously rotate it all the way around. With the helmet on, he could look about that far up, and let's try and get, about that far down. The arms can rotate all the way around. Hit that T-pose, absolutely no problem. The shoulder armor goes into the back part of the torso like so. Also rotates. Single jointed elbow that goes just a little bit farther than 90 degrees and also cuts. You got that lower arm rotation and gauntlet swivel. That is two separate points right there. The hands rotate all the way around. The left hand is the gripping hand and has a horizontal hinge. Over here you do get more of an acute angle, but again, watch those tubes. Watch those tubes. You're not going to want to break those. The hand is a gunslinger vertical hinge hand, so that's great. There is a small, tiny, ever so slight butterfly joint in there, but I'm going to be honest, you can barely utilize the butterfly joint that is in there because of just the way the torso is shaped. It's there though, it's there. There's going to be a cut just above the belt, and it's on a ball joint, so you can rotate it all the way around. You can get some tilt and twisty out of it. Let's see here, you can bend back about that far, and then you can bend forward. A decent amount, actually. I'm a fan of this cut right here. The legs down here are super interesting because with how chunky they are, you would expect them to kind of have horrible articulation, kind of like that 2013 Darth Maul figure. But check this out, it just works. It just works. Same thing with this one, even with the holster. They just, chunky and all, they just kick right out. That's honestly pretty cool. There is some upper thigh rotation up here. You can kick back, not as much as the kick forward, but you can get back there. Can do the splits that far. Again, I'm really surprised that the holster is not hindering this leg articulation. There is a huge single jointed knee right here. Just look at the size of that thing. That is a chunky leg. But hey, the joint works and it even rotates right over here. Boot cut. Oh my goodness, I'm really liking this leg articulation. Boot cut, was not expecting that. The feet can go that far down, that far up, and you have some really nice ankle pivot. Okay, earlier in the review, this was like flipped the other way, and it was hard to get this hand in it. It's also hard to get his hand to hold the trigger. It's just one of those blasters. Honestly, kind of rage-inducing, but once you get it in there, pro tip, leave it in there. You're not going to want to redo that. But yeah, he does look a lot more natural holding the blaster now that I rotated that forearm, the gauntlet around. I can't go shooting a Boba Fett review without making some comparisons, so let's just jump right into those. Starting off with the other Boba Fett bodies that we have in the Black Series. On the left, we have the orange line / archive of the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. On the right, we have the deluxe Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. Deluxe Return of the Jedi has throne room beat on accessories alone, but hey, I think they all look good in their own ways, and yeah, that's how they compare with each other. I think they scale up rather well. Here's some other Mandos that Boba encounters in The Mandalorian Season 2 with Bo-Katan and Casca Reeves. Continuing with the Mando Season 2 love, here he is next to Din Djarin, the Mandalorian himself in his Beskar armor, and Migs Mayfeld. Cara Dune and Fennec Shand, and if you're a big Book of Boba Fett fan, you're obviously going to want the Fennec Shand to go with Boba. Think they look great together. And we'll round this out with some Imperial Stormtroopers on the 2020 Stormtrooper body. At the end of the day, if you can look past the deluxe price point, I would say it's a pretty easy pickup. I'm not a fan of Hasbro just making the box bigger to make it look like a deluxe figure when previous Boba Fett releases had the jetpack and the 2 blasters and it wasn't a deluxe. A photoreal head does not make it deluxe. They could have at least included the accessories that were with the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, like the blast effects or the fire effect and stuff like that. I just feel like they could have done a little more to justify that deluxe price point. For most people, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal doing the extra $5 or $6, you know, every once in a while, but hey, you know, that could turn into a bigger problem. So if you're on the fence, if the price hike is a little too much of a sting for you, if that deluxe price point just isn't sitting well with you, maybe skip out on this one. But you know, if you are a big fan of The Mandalorian Season 2 or the Book of Boba Fett, which this figure could easily pass as a Book of Boba Fett figure, you're probably going to want to pick it up. It looks great, and the fact that it's even comparable and even more accurate in a lot of ways to the SH Figuarts says a lot about the Black Series figure, even at that $31.49 price point. So, you know, I don't mean to sound like a fence walker, but I don't know. I'm going to pass this one off to you. What do you guys think about this figure? The figure itself is great, but how are you guys feeling about that deluxe price point and Hasbro's practice of just stretching out the box and separating the accessories? I'm not a fan of that, but I love the figure and I'm a Black Series collector and I'm going to pick it up. But hey, you can still pick something up, criticize it, and at the end of the day still be really happy with it, which I'm pretty much in that boat right now. Those are my thoughts. I'm glad to have it. I recommend you to get it if you are a big fan of Boba Fett or Mando Season 2. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe if you are new. We are always talking about Star Wars The Black Series here on the channel. If you'd like to support us in a more direct way, we do have a channel membership, link in the description. For 99 cents a month, you get some really cool custom emojis that you can use in our live stream chats and our comment sections. We just added some new ones actually. And you also get a Clone Trooper name badge next to your name that changes based on how long you are a member. If you can't support us in that way, absolutely no problem, but if you can, it really does go a long way. Liking, subscribing, that's always going to be good enough for us though. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I've been Justin from Out of the Basement, and we will see you guys next time.